Hey guys, Maxim75 here, and we're back with a new custom review. This time it's on my custom Megatronus Prime / The Fallen. There's technically two different variants of this custom I can do that makes him Megatronus and The Fallen. So we will take a look at that. But first, hell yeah. I'm very happy with this custom. This is using the Bumblebee movie Megatron KO. If you've seen my bombshell review of using this exact custom, you will recognize this because I used my bombshell custom for this. The reason was because I wanted a new Fallen custom because I had just been using like the Studio Series The Fallen. And it just didn't really fit, and I made this guy instead, and I'm very much more happy with him. He still uses the Fallen part because he looks more menacing, and I just think he looks incredible, and he somehow stands even though he has a giant back cable, which can be taken off, which is good. But yeah, he comes with a lot of accessories, so we're gonna break this guy down and we're gonna get into it. And before I get any comments, no, I did not steal this idea from Stellaris Prime. I made this custom before his. Please don't spam that in the comments. Please do. All right, accessory-wise, we have three sort of accessories. The Requiem Blaster is just a custom purple gun. It doesn't really need to be here. It's technically Solus Prime's gun anyways. But we have a wrist blade here, which I've just realized is kind of slanted. I never realized that. But yeah, this is made of a tip of the staff of the Studio Series The Fallen and his little chest piece. We have the cockpit sort of back end of the Studio Series The Fallen, which is now just regulated to being a gun. And then we have this third-party upgrade kit, Legacy Menasor sword, which I have cut the hilt off, like basically sort of in half. And due to the Studio Series Bumblebee movie Megatron having opening hands, he can hold this due to his grip being able to hold it. But we'll show you that more in, the actual custom. So those are his accessories. All right, and here's the Fallen without his The Fallen stuff on. This is just Megatronus, which I kind of wish these parts were detachable because it would make him look a little bit more cleaner. But I don't know, I kind of like it. It makes him look just a little bit bulkier, but those horns look too much like Megatronus The Fallen. So yeah, but this guy is really cool. I'm happy with how he turned out. This part right here is clear plastic, and I'm scared for its life, but it can rotate and give him okay. But yeah, it's just to make this loincloth sort of just bigger. Yes, I would have painted it purple, but I don't know. I kind of like the color breakage of it being sort of clear and sort of ghostly. It's kind of cool. We have the Fallen part here on the legs, just to give him sort of sharper knees, but also give him bulkier legs as well. But yeah, so not much changes from my original custom of Bombshell. I mostly just repainted all of the pink sort of black. I believe all this black here, and then I believe the wings as well. We just repainted black to be less purple from Bombshell. What else? Oh yes, the back. So these parts are just sort of wings now, I guess. These are the connectors for those big horns you saw at the start, but we'll get into that later. But they sort of just rotate back here or just here. I don't really know where to go with them. They sort of look like a butterfly wings when you do it like this. You can still rotate them up to give them that sort of look. It's really up to preference. It could also be oh, I don't know. He shifts his body when he's ready for battle, or just flips it down for jet mode. It really all just depends. We do have some orange paint putted here, just for flame effects, I guess. I do have the Edge of Prime's Fallen Flames. I will show you it with this guy, but there's no real place to sort of put them, I guess, except for the arms, because again, this is a Studio Series mold. The cannon is on the back here. I sort of act like a jet booster, but can flip up. To give him sort of firepower, I guess. Same as my Bombshell custom. But yeah, let's get him all fallened up. So to get him fallened up is basically taking these custom little shoulder pauldrons and just putting those on the ball joint there, and they rotate around to the shoulders to sit right there. They don't peg in anywhere, they just sort of sit. This is just so the arms still have their its full rotation, and these horns can move out of the way if they need to. So that's how that works, and it basically just gives them this more devilish sort of look. You take this cockpit gun, and then you see this 5mm port. This is actually part of the spear, again, the other end of the spear. I forgot to show that. But that just pegs into the port here, and it becomes a giant shield / gun. and then you take this beauty over here, and then you just peg this into the other port, and that becomes another sort of like bulk him up with an arm blade sort of thing. And that's how you armor him up and become the Fallen, which, yeah, I kind of like it. I kind of like it's sort of like a 2-in-1 type of custom, and it does look really cool. But obviously, you know, you want to see the sword being attached. So I typically take either one of these off just due to how heavy it gets. And also this just pops off way too easily anyways. So this will come off just so we can put the sword on. So the sword, you just take it and you just jam it in here somehow. It will sit. And then fold that over. And there you go. You can hold the sword, which is great. And he does have a decent grip sometimes. But it's mostly just getting it in and then like keeping it. I don't know if I'm doing this like the wrong way or the right way. Well, there we go. That should be fine. There we go. That's a better grip. So it's all about just like rotating it and like fitting it in and all that. But yeah, I absolutely love that he can wield this giant sword. It's just so like the Fallen, you know, just making the Fallen more badass with a giant purple sword. Obviously, you can't take off the hilt and just, you know, give him a giant hilt or something. It's quite cool, and I do like everything I did, and I'm happy I kind of how I managed to get it in his hand. There was the toughest part because the 5mm port is not 5mm, so yeah, that's the giant sword. Now, does this guy transform? Oh, yes, he does. Oh, yeah, and before we get into transformation, here is what the flames look like on him. There's only real 2 ports, and that's on the arms, and then I guess he can hold fire, and then he has fire in his cannon. So, yeah, he's on fire. Yay. So because transformation is going to be a little bit different, I will not be speeding everything up today, so this one's going to be a long one, and I need to try and remember how exactly this guy transforms, because although it's just Bumblebee movie Megatron, he can turn into basically anything due to him not really turning into any good old modes. He's still, you know, there's still things that I've converted and I still need to remember, because I don't mess with my customs at all. I'm scared of paint chips, and I don't really care about alt modes that much. I only display my Transformers in robot mode, so yeah, but we are going to try and remember how I did this. Now, I looked at the picture beforehand, just in case, and I believe I remember how now. So obviously the cannon flips around, and everything I think is just in the legs. Seems like, if I can get the legs out, that is. Let's try and remember how to do this. I believe you rotate the waist around, so the crotch armor is facing that way. You rotate these outwards. I believe we fold these around like that, sort of becomes like jet boosters, sort of like a Transformers 07 Megatron in a way. So we will take these like wings and fold them out. I believe I also have to rotate this around again, and now it's all just in the legs. I believe it's all just collapsing and finding where everything goes, you know, all Transformers movie Megatron stuff. Unfortunately, the paint has made everything very stiff and tight in the pegs. Obviously, this is a KO, so it's a little bit different. Oh, I heard that. Super glue snap. This is also another reason why I don't mostly customize a lot of my customs or transform a lot of my customs. Obviously, I customize them. Super glue. It's a pain when things, you know, just come undone and you have to super glue them. But yeah. Something like this, I think, was the jet mode for him, and then we just rotate these around on the ball joints that always like to pop off. It's very annoying when that happens, but we're fine. I believe this is sort of what the transformation was on the original post. You can find this guy's post on my Instagram. I have a whole highlight of just all my Prime customs that I made over the years. But here you go. Here is the Fallen in his like spacecraft alien jet mode. The best I could do, especially with these giant like modifications with the horns. And honestly, I think it makes a better jet mode than its predecessor, Bumblebee movie Megatron. So yeah, and it is very much inspired by, you know, the 07 Megatron jet with, you know, this and especially on the back there. But yeah. I'm really happy with how it turned out. It doesn't really have a cockpit. I believe you can sort of just like jam this in here and it will like stay and it sort of becomes a cockpit like that. But it doesn't really have any pegging ports or anything like that. But he does have the cannon, which, yes, you can use blast effects. So here's the flame from them falling, kind of blasting. Who does he kill? I don't know, a Solus Prime. But you can flip it around, and it can become a sort of a jet booster. So there you go, alternatives. But that kind of looks weird. So flip it around, and it becomes a cannon. Absolutely amazing. All right, then, size comparisons. Obviously, we do this all the time. No, we don't. Here is his mold predecessor, also as a custom, G-Axis. Legacy 55 G-Axis, made out of the same mold, but we movie Megatron. So, yeah, very cool. And then if we bring in my next review, hopefully, and there should be another unique custom review, my custom Angel. Need I say more? Anyways, take the Angel away. And yeah, that is my custom review on Megatronus / The Fallen. I hope you all enjoy. This took way too long to review. I don't know why it took me so long to get this out to you all. But hey, I'm happy I did. And yeah, a Fallen had to be sacrificed. Get it? Because he's the Fallen.